So, good morning to one and all. Today we are going to see about in this lecture what we are going to see about GIS and the risk analysis, risk assessment. So, this is a part of your hazard paper, whatever the geo hazard and this disaster management and all. You need the risk assessment and the role of GIS in this hazard and risk assessment is a very important one. So, as you know that GIS technology is a very increasingly used by the special decision support system as a. So, in the past few years, GIS emerged as a very powerful tool for a risk assessment and is being a from natural hazards such as earthquake, hurricane, cyclone, and flood. Manipulation, analysis, and graphing presentation of the risk hazard data can be done within a GIS system. And because this data have associated location information which is also stored within the GIS, their spatial interrelationship can be determined and used in a computer-based risk assessment model. This assessment can be used by the insurance companies to help them make decision on their insurance policy rate, land developer to make decision on the feasibility of product project site, and government planner for better disaster preparedness. So, what we are now studying nowadays about the risk factor. What kind of risks are there in the first one is the hazard mapping and the risk assessment. So, hazard mapping is just that how much chances of the your what we can say the that particular hazard is there. Means what is the chances of the earthquake in that particular area? Probability. We can better say the probability. Then you have a risk. What is the risk of the how many means buildings can be collapsed and what kind of risk are there in the it's if the hazard is get happened. So nowadays the GIS technique has been used in a very much GIS technology is increasingly used in spatial decision support system. In the past few years, GIS emerged as a powerful risk assessment tool and is being put to use to assess the risk of property and live streaming. So, risk of what? Risk of two type of risk are there. One is the property. First one is the property loss or a life loss. Property loss or life loss. So, if you any construction, any things are there in that area, so risk may be high. If the earthquake is occurred at Delhi, an earthquake occurred at the somewhere in Jaisalmer and all something like that in this desert, where is having a higher risk of destruction and all. Obviously, in Delhi, where you have a more urbanization and more population are there, so that's how you can have you can study the population or risk assessment of the any area. Then you have manipulation, analysis, and graphic presentation of risk and hazard data can be done within a GIS system. And because this data have associated location information which is also stored within a GIS, their spatial interrelationship can be determined and used in the computer-based risk assessment model. This assessment can be used by the insurance companies to help them make decision on their insurance policy rates. So, what is the use of this all? What is the use of this all? The assessment can be used by the insurance companies. Means when you have a insurance, crop insurance, you have property insurance, you have a car insurance, and all this type of insurance you have by the different type of company. Nowadays, the insurance is having a very good market. The insurance companies are having a whereas earlier days it can be a just a, what we can say the government agencies only working in this sector, but nowadays there is a more private uh, more private companies is come forward, and this insurance and all can be a very popular one. So for the insurance companies, what they need a data set which suggests that how much risk is there being that for particular area. Okay, means if anyone is wanted to be a risk for the what we can say the property, uh, if anyone want insurance for the property, so the insurance company should know about the what kind of chances of the earthquake is there. Um, so how you can know by the hazard mapping on all this risk assessment and hazard mapping. So the data, the means what we can say the this GIS technique is very much useful for this all the data integration, analysis, and the what we can say the assessment of the any particular hazard. So this assessment can be used by the insurance companies to help them make decision on their insurance policy rate, by land developer to make a decision on the feasibility of project site, and by government planner for the better disaster preparedness. So 3 to 4 type of application are there for this what we can say the assessment. One is decision on the insurance policy, that how much rate or how much returns and all this warranty and whatever their criteria they are deciding, they have to decide their criteria on the basis of what, on the basis of the risk assessment of the area. If you are going into the Himalaya, if you are going into the Himalaya where the landslide and earthquake activities are very common, and in the slopey area where the slope is very high, it's a steeper one. And if you are if anyone want doing a insurance for their property about destruction or landslide and some whatever the natural disaster, if any person want to do this kind of insurance, so what company can decide? Uh, Company can offer a lower rate of the whatever or lower what we can say the returns, or a higher money demand by the this insurance company for the safety purpose. Why? Because there is a more chances. There is a more chances of the earthquake in that particular area. This assessment can be used by the insurance companies. This assessment can be used by the insurance companies to help them make decision on, insurance companies to help them decision on their insurance policy rate, land developer to make decision on the feasibility of project site, and by government planner for better disaster preparedness. So this is all are the your disaster preparedness and all. Then you have a risk assessment. A fundamental principle of risk assessment is that risk due to the natural catastrophe such as earthquake. So the fundamental principle of risk assessment. What is the fundamental principle of risk assessment? A fundamental principle of risk assessment is that risk due to the natural catastrophe, a risk due to the natural catastrophe such as earthquake, hurricane, and flood. Such as earthquake, hurricanes, and flood. So is the where is the location dependent? It is assessed that within a acceptable range of uncertainty. Within a acceptable range of uncertainty, if reliable historical and location specific data is available, risk assessment of natural catastrophe has two components: hazard and vulnerability, and the hazard, which is measured of the physical intensity of the peril at the particular location and associated probabilities of these intensities. Hazard is a location dependent For example, a location which is surrounding, for example, a location which is surrounded by the seismic fault and has a weak surface geology has a higher hazard potential than the location for away from the fault and near the strong surface geology. So, what about the hazard? Hazard is a more location dependent. Hazard is more location dependent. So, a fundamental principle of risk assessment is how the risk assessment can be. What is the main causing factor for this one? A catastrophe such as earthquake, hurricanes, flood is a location dependent. Okay, so you may very less chances. You may have very less chances to have a flood in the what we can say the eastern part of Rajasthan and all, and you have a very less chances of having an earthquake in a stable plateau of southern India and all southern peninsula, where you have a very stable plateau, and you having very less amount of less chances to having a flood where you don't have a major river channel. Okay, so so the this all the natural catastrophes are having a what we can say the location dependent. These all are the location dependent, and that it can be assessed within the acceptable range of uncertainty. It is the acceptable range of uncertainty. If reliable historical location specific data is available, if reliable historical and location data specific is available, risk assessment of natural catastrophes has two components: hazard and vulnerability. Hazard and vulnerability. The hazard is a measure of physical intensity and peril at a particular location. Physical intensity and peril at a particular location, and the associated probabilities of these intensities. And the associated probabilities of these intensities. Hazard is a location dependent. Hazard is a location dependent. For example, a location which is surrounded by seismic fault. For example, a location which is surrounded by seismic fault and has a weak surface geology has a higher hazard potential than the location for away from faults. So you have a hazard potential which is having a location dependent, which having a location dependent. The if there is a place which is away from the faults and with a strong surface geology, similarly hurricane hazard at a location near the coast and hazard at the location near the coast and with the flat bare terrain is far higher than the location which is inland and has a rugged terrain. The vulnerability is measure of damage. A vulnerability is a measure of damage that the peril can be caused to the built environment. At that location, man-made structure respond to different peril in different ways depending on the design of their structural system and method of construction. Then you have a disaster preparedness program. Then you have a disaster preparedness program. So flood and cyclone. Flood and cyclone play a havoc with the irrigation process in the coastal areas of Andhra Pradesh and all. You know that what kind of so the Bengal and this Kerala and whatever the coastal area is having. That coastal area is mostly gone through the flood and cyclone. Mostly the cyclone and this all the hurricanes and all are the very much of what we can say the common there. On the other hand, the Telangana and this region is semi-arid and arid climate condition are frequently affected by the drought. So what we can say that hazard is a dependent on the hazard is a your what we can say the uh, hazard is a place dependent means a location dependent activity. Hazard is a location dependent activity. The worst affected are the rural people. The worst affected are the rural people who are not adequately warned about the impending disaster. So who is get mostly affected by this all? Who is get mostly affected by this all? People of what we can say, the rural people who is not warned about this impending disaster. Okay, people who have don't know about the disaster, that disaster may come to the that place, and means may occur at some time, and they are mostly exposed to this disaster. So this is what you can have all this type of disaster. And now the different state agencies, different state remote sensing agencies has developed the remote sensing applications to overcome some of the problem that the state has faced. The application areas include surface water, groundwater, marine resources, geology and mines, energy, agriculture, soil urban planning, roads, forestry, animal husbandry, and environmental hazard. So this all can be covered in the this program by the state government, so that all the management and all this can be done. So what is the role of GIS for the risk assessment? What is the role of GIS for the risk is what kind of risk is there? What kind of risk is there? So GIS is conjunction with the GIS is a conjunction with the what we can say, the remote sensing and photogrammetry, which can be used to identify hazard. So seismic fault and flood prone areas can be identified. Seismic fault and flood prone areas can be identified by scientists using a GIS to analyze satellite images, aerial photos, field survey data, and all. So, what kind of GIS data we are using for the remote sensing and photogrammetry? This can be used to identify hazard, seismic fault, and flood area prone areas. So, once the hazard has been identified, once the hazard have been identified, their representation can be stored. Their representation can be stored conventionally in the GIS database. The information which is required for earthquake risk assessment, the information which is required for the earthquake risk assessment include the location and properties of the seismic fault, surface geology, terrain slope, water table level, inventories of the epicenters, and landslide occurrences. So this is all are the risk assessment parameter which we require. What information we require? Whether the include the location of the properties of the seismic fault. So what is the location of that, whatever the risk assessment of that area? What is the location? What is lat long? What kind of structure and all this one? Whether the location is on a coastal area, whether it is on a valley area, whether it is in a plain area. So what location that for that particular assessment zone is there? Then you have properties of seismic fault. Then you have properties of seismic fault. Surface geology, terrain slope. So then you have a surface geology, terrain slope, water table level, inventories of epicenter, and landslide occurrences are there. For hurricane risk, information on land use, land cover, coastline, and distance from the coast are important. Similarly, topology data is required for flood assessment and storm surge analysis. In addition, new hazard layer can be generated within a GIS by combining hazard layer. For example, the landslide hazard layer can be generated by the overlaying elevation. Then you have a surface geology and water body level landslide, which having a inventory data. The liquefaction hazard can be generated. The liquefaction hazard can be generated in a GIS by overlaying geology with water table level data. So in addition to new hazard layer which can be generated within a GIS by combining hazard layer, a landslide hazard layer can be generated by overlying elevation, surface geology, water table level, landslide inventory data, and liquefaction hazard, which can be generated by GIS by overlying geology. So inventory data can also be stored easily. Inventory data can also be stored easily in GIS dataset. Data on building stock, data and building stock, liveliness, utilities, etc., can be aggregated into the manageable geographic regions such as census ward, pin codes, a larger administrative region such as villages, talukas, and even district using the statistical function available in the GIS system. The average value for of various properties of different buildings classes can be computed, that is the average monetary value of the residential dwelling in a particular villages, and store with their corresponding geographic region in the GIS database. The result loss per pattern in the region, their associated uncertainty that are computed through this risk assessment can be mapped and again used for the querying information through GIS application. GIS technology provide a powerful tool for displaying output and permit user to see the geographic distribution of impact from the different peril scenario and assumption, which allow to user to perform a quick geographic sensitivity analysis for all this one. So now this is an example of what kind of map you can create with the GIS for the hazard mapping and all. So a very common use of GIS in risk assessment is the preparation of hazard map. So hazard map is a very common and foremost important for the risk assessment of any area. A hazard map could be created to show a earthquake hazard, landslide hazard, flood hazard, or fire hazard. These maps could be created for a cities, district, or even for the entire country. GIS can be used for the analysis to determine hazard zone in the map as well as output and printing of such a map. These hazard maps serve as a risk zone identifier for the general population since they easily to understand and internet. But they are also to use to planner, developer, and insurance company for quick identity for risk prone area. So what kind of maps we so you make a threat map. You make a threat map. What is the threat map? Threat map is the tropical cyclone threat map, which is used by the meteorological department. Which is used by the meteorological department to improve the quality their tropics storm warning system. The purpose of this map is quickly communicate the risk to the people likely to get affected by the cyclone. GIS is GIS is used to effectively display the position and likely movement of the wind and the vulnerability for the identified zone. These maps are very much helpful for administrative agencies involved in a risk assessment and disaster mitigation. The threat map can be suitably overlap with the population and land use map to arrive the uh, meaningful conclusion. This map can be provided to the media and effective communication, considering the quick turnaround time for generation. This maps risk threat can be used to real-time simulation of wind velocities, So threat map is nothing but the what kind of threat for the moves, you have a tropical cyclone threat map, which are by used by the meteorological department to improve the quality of the tropical storm. So you have a threat map, then you have insurance underwriting, then you have insurance underwriting. GIS is now being used on GIS is now being used the GUS geographic underwriting station. So uh, the what the GIS threat map is can do. These maps are very helpful for administrative agency involved in a risk assessment and disaster migration. The threat map can be suitably overlap with the population and your what we can say the communication of this data to the people from the who is going to affect by this one. Then you have insurance underwriting. GIS now being used by the on the GUS insurance underwriting, which can be access data on a demographic, property value, crime rates, and location of fire, uh, location of the what your fire hydrant, police station and fire station, as well as the location of the hazardous facility, all available on this desktop delivered through the GIS. So now you can have a GIS which can be used as a tool for a segmenting the market for a insurance. So what we are did see that what kind of plan for the cyclone and this type of. Now we can see the disaster management plan by the Maharashtra. So the up to the tehsil level on up to the tehsil level and on the 52 crore DMP project added by the World Bank. DMP the 52 core DMP project added by the World Bank. Um, the similar communication network would be set up in the Maharashtra to link all the civic ward to the BMC. So all this document can be retrieved. The DMP, both the communication network and GIS could cost nearly 33 crore of total of 52 crore. So the DMP investigate the many DST investigate the many emergency operation center in so this one is all are the good typhoon of. So we can have a map of this hazard and all. So DMP investigate the main category, DST investigate the main category, the entire state in control room, each district headquarter. So this is how you can have this one. Then you know that most of the countries are stable, but some of the countries which is located on the earth plate boundary, whatever the this one is on the earth plate boundary, they will be join they will be have to. So earthquake prediction program may soon be closed down. Earthquake prediction program that blues blooms in the rich countries as Japan exhibiting the network of detection equipment completely missed four big tremors in the early 1990s. This failure could be played down because so what kind of the council engaging some justifiable have to give. So the the paper which is now we have seen those all PPTs. This paper has gas can be used. So it can also be used to determine new hazard through the overlay of hazard data. So hazard is not always being a stable one that at one place there is a hazard, at another place there is no hazard. It's not like that. So the failure could be played down the because the event occur procedurally. So this paper has attempted to describe the this attempt is have to describe the this all. So conclusion, this paper has attempted to describe the various way of GIS which can be used to risk assessment. GIS can be used in the very beginning of the risk analysis. Uh, in the identification of hazard itself, it can be so. So GIS is very much giving the help to other GIS take opportunities and all. So you can have. This is what their conclusion is all about. GIS is help to a planner, and so if you want to make a building, you just know about what kind of property laws and all this can be happen. This one again the so all these are the hazard which can be managed and studied by the remote sensing and GIS study. So what kind of data set you have to apply and what kind of images you have, that will be depending that will be reflected in your this one. So so this is what how we did the risk assessment, how we did the risk assessment with the help of the different criteria. With the help of the different criteria, we did this risk assessment and uh, what kind of data we need, what kind of operation we have to perform, so uh, that all are the nothing but the uh, hazard for this one. So this is why we study the hazard and this all. So the hazard is the in the workplace hazard and the other. So first you should have what we can do and what we do. So there is a three type: pre and now continuous and post. So all these three can be marked, should be marked before the going to next one. So what is the workplace? We just go through the. So this is how you have all the risk assessment for the GIS technology. So you have different kind of mechanism, different kind of processes which is involved in this disaster preparedness map. So disaster and hazard preparation map can be done. Uh, hazard population map. Hazard population map is can be used to or can be very much important for the to know the what kind of area this area is having. So for the point of person, you should uh, so this kind of operation, this kind of models and all the data set we require for the different disaster management. So what kind of disaster we are now facing through? Mostly a cyclone. A cyclone is very common in India nowadays. So what kind of disaster management we require? So basically, what we are going through is the um, what we can say the uh, disaster, and this all has been uh, can be predicted on a better probability scale. And once you get predicted this all, so what happened? You are what we can say the uh, so if you are going to prepare such a map for the area, and if you are delivering this content to the concerned people who is staying in a village and all, so maybe they don't have any what we can say the any hazard and also. So risk assessment, hazard mapping is a component. So risk assessment should be performed for the any construction or major civil construction and all. So like you have a health insurance, the building and property is also having a health insurance. So this is how we can study this all the concept uh, about the hazard. So hazards and hazard and risk what we are seeing in this lecture. So, this is a three different component. This is a three different component. So now I'm going to share my screen with the one of the video for yours. So what is a disaster? To understand this disaster concept, we first know about the hazard and vulnerability. Hazard is a French word as zahir in Arabic, meaning chance or luck. So a dangerous condition or event that threat of have potential for causing injuries. So dangerous condition or equal weight conditions are there. So this is all different kind of hazard we have. This is the earthquake, flood, volcano eruption, landslide, drought, tsunami, forest fire, chemical accident like we have Bhopal gas plant, and this all. This all are the what we can say the hazard. So in this each and every hazard, you can have a different kind of study for that particular area. Then you have vulnerability. What is vulnerability? A vulnerability is a degree of susceptibility and resilience of the community and environment. A susceptibility means being likely or liable to the influence. Resilience means the capacity of to recover quick from the so IT is depend upon IT is depend on the characteristic of person or a group of term of capacity to anticipate, cope with, and the resist and the recover. So these all are the vulnerability, nothing but the vulnerability. Then what is the risk? So what is the risk? Risk is the include the two element possibility and probability. Means what kind of probability is there, and what is the possibility of the that uh, earthquake. And what is the disaster? Last, a disaster is a disaster bad star. So disaster is a bad star. So disaster, vulnerability, and risk. This disaster, vulnerability, hazard. So these all are the component which we use for the what we can say the uh, disaster management, and use of this one in your what we can say the all the presentation, whatever the videos we are capturing. So thank you very much for listening this carefully and silently. Hope you enjoy this lecture, and if yes, you can subscribe this channel and like the video. Thank you very much for your cooperation, and I am uh, looking forward to for our next lecture in a next tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow we will is going to see further. So thank you all for a wonderful lecture and this one.